When I Fall by Scarlet Emerald 32. Chapter 43.
And you're sure you're good with this?
Talisa asked for the fourth time, making Sadiq roll his eyes.
I'm sure, but I'm starting to think you're the one who's not good with it.
No, I am. I'm good as far as trusting you is concerned, at least. It's just this is the longest I've ever left them.
Tal, it's going to be fine. We're going to have a great few days. And when you think about it, you're literally leaving them in the care of their primary physician. Can't get much safer than that.
You make an excellent point.
She sighed and walked back into her living room, where the boys sat together on the couch watching a movie.
Hey, my little men. It's time for me to go, but I'm going to be back before you know it, with Daddy, okay?
Okay, Mommy. Don't worry. I'll take care of Lincoln so he doesn't get scared.
I know you will, baby.
Talisa pulled her son into a tight hug.
But just remember, while Mommy and Daddy are gone, Uncle Sadiq is in charge, okay? You listen to him just like you do us, and you help him out like a big boy.
I will, Mommy. I promise.
Talisa gave him one more hug and sat him back down on the couch before picking up her youngest.
Mommy, I don't want you to go.
I know, baby. I don't want to leave you either, but I promise it's just going to be for a couple days. It'll go by so fast, and you'll be having so much fun with Uncle Sadiq you won't even notice.
Yes, I will.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something my daddy, your grandpa, always told me when I was little. You remember when Daddy let you stay up late and showed you the brightest star up in the sky?
Yeah.
Well, that star is so big and bright that no matter where you are in the world, you can always see it. So if you miss me and Daddy while we're gone for the next few days, all you have to do is look up at that star and you can know that Daddy and I can see it too, and it will be like we're right there together again. Okay?
Okay.
Talisa hugged him close, kissing the top of his head.
I love you so much, baby. You be a big, brave boy for Mommy, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, Mommy. I love you.
Lincoln wiggled out of her arms and returned to watching his TV show. She gave her boys one last look and then turned to head for the door where Sadiq was waiting.
Now you remember.
That Lincoln is minorly lactose intolerant and will get an upset stomach if he has more than one glass of milk a day. And strawberries make Teddy break out in hives.
Sadiq pointed at his own chest.
Me. Doctor. I'm the one who diagnosed them both in the first place and told you.
She smiled reluctantly and leaned in to hug him.
You're also the best friend a girl could ever have. Thank you so much.
Don't worry about it. Honestly, I'm excited to get to put my fun uncle hat back on for a while. So you're actually doing me a favor. Just make sure those people get to Hilltop safe, and with any luck, Eugene and Rosita will be there when you do. If not, I know you'll find them.
Talisa gave his hand one more squeeze before walking out the door with her pack slung over her shoulder and down towards the stables where Michonne was helping get the horses saddled.
I still say there's no reason for you to come.
Talisa sighed and fought the urge to roll her eyes. She and Michonne had been through this at least 3 times already.
Hilltop is the closest settlement to Fairfax. If Rosita and Eugene got cut off and were on foot, that's where they'd be headed. And I'm not going to sit around here for days waiting to find out. I'm coming. End of discussion.
And you're really not?
Michonne looked past Talisa to where Aaron was already heading to the gate with his own pack.
You've got more than enough people to get them there safely, and I've got a mission of my own. I'll see you when you get back.
He glanced briefly over at Talisa, who suppressed a smirk, and nodded to him as he turned and headed for the gate. Michonne watched him go and then turned back to the horse and adjusted the bridle as DJ, another member of their community, pulled one of their makeshift wagons, made of the shell of an old minivan cut in half out of the barn, with all of the newcomers piled into it.
We'll head to where you said your camp was first. Then, if you're telling the truth, we'll take you on to Hilltop. Should be there by tomorrow morning.
Talisa hopped up onto the second horse beside her, and the procession headed for the gates. They proceeded down the road in tense silence for over a half an hour, no one seeming to want to look at each other, much less talk to each other. The newcomers huddled together in the back of the wagon, shooting furtive glances around, with the exception of Yumiko, the woman who had been injured. She rode in the front next to DJ, sitting up tall and stoic.
How much further have the patrols cleared?
Michonne asked, looking over at DJ.
Till the Route D river bend. Their rig's about 5 miles past that.
If their story checks out.
She shot Talisa a look and sighed slightly.
You'd feel better if you just say it.
What makes you think I want to say something?
I'm not hearing you deny it.
Michonne met her eye with a knowing smirk, and after another second or two, Talisa rolled her eyes slightly.
All I was going to say is that I'm glad you changed your mind about them.
But you also think I should have let them stay in Alexandria.
Well, you're going pretty far out of your way not to. Especially considering
Considering what?
that you like them.
Oh, I do, huh?
I mean, I'm not hearing you deny it.
Michonne shot her a reluctant smile and a slight eye roll.
That doesn't mean I trust them.
As Michonne urged her horse forward, Talisa noticed the newcomers leaning close together in the back of the wagon, having a whispered argument. Magna said something angrily to Kelly and shoved herself back against the side of the wagon, crossing her arms and glaring out the back.
Sorry about Magna.
Yumiko looked back at her and then over at Talisa apologetically.
She can be a bit hot-headed.
That's one word for it.
She's been on edge since we lost Bernie.
Was he with you long?
Long enough. He loved getting under Magna's skin. He used to wear this absolutely horrid shirt. It was like looking into creation itself, but in paisley.
Talisa chuckled appreciatively.
Magna hated it. Said just looking at it gave her a migraine. So Bernie wore it every day of the week, of course. Honestly, I think she came around on the shirt in the end, just like she came around on him.
That's how family works.
Yumiko looked up at Michonne in surprise.
This place, Hilltop, it's safe?
Yeah, it is.
What's it like?
It's been a while since I've been there.
Then how do you know it's safe?
Luke asked from behind her. Michonne sighed and her nostrils flared in annoyance.
Look, I promised my daughter I would get you there, and I will. You're just going to have to trust me.
They traveled on for another 10 minutes until they came to an open field. There was a large shipping container on its side in the middle, and debris scattered all around it. Luke groaned, putting his hands on his head and looking around.
Oh, no. Sickos tore the damn place up.
I didn't think it would be this bad.
Is this really all that's left?
They all hopped down and walked into the field as the newcomers looked around at their scattered belongings.
The herd you ran from did all this?
No, a bigger one must have come through.
Talisa walked over to a pile of what looked like instruments and picked up 2 recorders, holding one up for Michonne to see.
Hey, look at this. Feels like a rite of parenthood to have to listen to your kids screech out hot cross buns on one of these. Think we should take them home with us?
I think maybe that's a tradition we can let die.
Talisa shot her a smirk but tucked them in her bag anyway.
It has to be here. It has to.
Luke rummaged through the instruments.
What's up?
Talisa walked over to him and Connie signed something to him, making him glare at her.
I am not telling her that.
Connie signed something again, and he rolled his eyes before looking back at Talisa, who raised a curious eyebrow.
Okay, fine. Yes, I have a love of the musical arts, but Connie here does not appreciate my... No, it is not a fetish. Thank you very much.
He glared as Connie made a sign at him, and then looked quickly back at Talisa, who smirked.
It's not a fetish.
Talisa didn't reply, but instead turned to Connie and mimicked the sign she had done.
Fetish?
Connie nodded and grinned.
Gonna have to remember that one.
Connie laughed appreciatively, but Luke rolled his eyes and gently bumped her arm to get her attention back on him.
Can you please just help me find it?
She raised her hands in resignation and began sorting through the pile with him.
DJ, collect all their weapons.
Yumiko and Magna whirled around to look at her in alarm.
What? Hell no. We're taking what's ours.
No, I'm not letting my people take 5 armed strangers to Hilltop.
Your people? What about you?
I came here to see if your story checked out. It does. Talisa and DJ will take you the rest of the way.
So not only have you not been to this place in who knows how long, you aren't coming with us, and we can't even have our weapons?
If you want your weapons, take them. Then you're on your own.
Michonne,
Talisa looked carefully from her to Magna, but Michonne ignored her.
You want an escort to Hilltop? A chance at a better life? Then you stay with us and do things our way.
Luke raised his hand tentatively.
I vote for the second one.
So we're just supposed to trust her, even though she doesn't trust us? I mean, guys, we've made it this far. I say we take our chances out there.
Nope. I'm going with the second option. How about you?
He held up 2 fingers to Connie.
You with me? Second option.
Okay, stop it.
Yumiko looked at Magna.
Luke's right. They wouldn't put us back together just to pull us apart again.
She looked over at Michonne.
You said we'd be there by morning.
That's right.
Look, I know you don't like her rules. I don't either. But we made it out here a long time on our own, with less than this. So for a real chance at a safe place to live, we can make it a few more hours, okay?
Magna gave her a long, hard look, but in the end she nodded and walked back towards the wagon.
Sun will be down soon. We should find cover.
A few hours later, Talisa awoke with a start. They'd set up camp in an old warehouse that had enough room for them and the horses. She'd only been asleep for a little while, but she was pretty sure someone had shouted. Suddenly, she heard the slash of Michonne's sword, and she jumped to her feet, running around where the horses were corralled with the others close behind. Michonne was standing there with her sword raised, and Luke was standing in front of her, holding a violin that had been cleanly sliced in 2.
you murdered his violin?
His back was to me and I couldn't see what it was. I told him to drop it.
And I told you I couldn't. It's priceless, or at least it was.
He walked around her muttering to himself and carefully laid the pieces back in the case, sitting in across his lap and staring down at it.
This is unbelievable. This is utterly unbelievable.
Listen,
Luke held a hand up to silence her.
Do you know what this is? This is an original Stradivarius.
Shut up, it is not. How old?
Circa
1767.
Yumiko and Magna said in unison from their spot leaning against the wall.
He found it in a mansion outside of Philadelphia before it was overrun by sickos. In a kid's room of all places.
Like the kid was gonna miss it.
So you've been traveling with what? A collection of instruments all this time? Why would you do that?
Because it's art.
Here we go.
Yumiko muttered as she laid down and put her head in Magna's lap. Magna chuckled and began playing with her hair.
Look. For a very long time, historians and archaeologists have wondered how ancient humans survived the Neanderthals.
Okay.
DJ still looked confused.
How did we defeat them when they were bigger, smarter, stronger, and faster? They even had better tools than us. So why are we here and they're not? Well, then the scientists found a cave, and in the cave was a flute, tens of thousands of years old.
a flute?
Michonne raised an eyebrow in slight amusement.
Yes, a flute. And then they realized maybe ancient humans didn't defeat the Neanderthal. Not in the way that we think of the word defeat anyway. They came together as an answer to defeat. They sat around campfires. They shared stories with each other in the form of music and paintings. They created a common identity. They built communities, and they grew. And as they grew, Neanderthal retreated, and then after a while, they just died out. So this?
He ran a hand over his broken violin carefully.
This is the one thing that separates us from the animals. For better or worse, it brings us together. And if we're trying to rebuild something, you can't ignore that.
Music hath charms to soothe the savage breast.
Luke looked over at her with a curious expression.
I'm kinda a musician too. Never owned anything as exceptional as a Stradivarius, but I've managed to keep my guitar with me since the beginning. Music has always been the thing that still makes sense when everything else is falling apart. No matter how dark the world gets, it can't change the way chords progress, or the notes that each of my guitar strings can make, you know?
You see, she gets it.
Luke pointed at her with a grin.
After everything you've seen and done, you really still believe that's all it'll take? It's survival of the fittest now.
Sharing with each other? That's part of what makes us stronger.
Talisa could just see Michonne pacing in the doorway from where she was lying. She rolled over and closed her eyes, willing herself to go back to sleep, but her mind was far too full of conflicting thoughts.
Hey.
Talisa opened her eyes and saw Luke leaning towards her. She propped herself up on her elbow to look at him.
What's your name?
Talisa Prince Porter.
Nice to meet you officially, Talisa Prince Porter.
Back at ya.
So you're with the guy with the deer, right? I saw you guys together when we first got to Alexandria.
Mrs. Guy with the deer at your service.
She gave a small salute and he smirked in response.
And you've got kids?
Yep, 2 boys.
Meaning no offense, but what the hell are you doing out here with us then?
Talisa looked down at her hands and sighed.
Eugene. That's my husband's name, by the way, Eugene. He went out with our friend Rosita the day before yesterday. It was only supposed to be for a few hours, but they're still not back. I'm hoping to find them at Hilltop. If something went wrong, that's where they would have headed. It's the closest settlement to where they were going.
Damn, that sucks. I hope he's waiting for you when we get there.
Yeah, me too.
The next morning, DJ went out to get the wagon ready as they packed up, and Michonne walked over to where Talisa was putting the last few things into her bag.
I'll probably reach Alexandria before you get back to Hilltop. So if you need any supplies, you should take them.
I'd rather have you watching my back.
Michonne gave her a slightly exasperated smile as she shook her head.
Michonne, come with us. I mean, it's the least you can do after you murdered Luke's violin.
Michonne laughed outright at that, but still shook her head again.
It's for the best. You know that.
I know you're worried about Maggie, but you don't have to be.
We can't take the risk. I don't know what she'll do if she sees me.
Michonne?
Talisa hesitated. She'd kept this information from Michonne for years now, and she wasn't at all sure how she'd react to it, but she knew it was time.
Maggie's gone.
Michonne looked up sharply.
She took Herschel and left a while ago. Jesus runs Hilltop now.
Where is she? How do you know?
Michonne!
DJ ran into the doorway.
What is it?
Walkers, we gotta move!
Let's go.
Michonne ran for the door. They got outside and saw a few dozen walkers weaving between the cars towards them.
DJ, get the wagon and the horses out to a safe distance.
Michonne, he needs to give us our weapons.
Michonne didn't acknowledge her.
Michonne, how are we supposed to fight?
The walkers were closing in, but Michonne still hesitated.
Michonne, give them their damn weapons.
Michonne finally nodded to DJ, who grabbed the bag immediately and tossed it down to them so they could get their weapons.
We can't circle up, so we split up. DJ, get the horses out of here, and we'll meet up with you. Luke, you go with Talisa. The rest of you with me.
Talisa ran between the cars to the left, taking out walkers as she went. Luke was close behind her and stopped quickly to open the doors of the cars on either side to create a barrier to stop the walkers. As he did, another grabbed him from behind. He wrestled it off him and Talisa spun around to help him, but just as she was about to take it out, it crumpled as a rock hit it in the temple. She looked over and saw Kelly holding up her slingshot a few feet away. She gave her a nod of thanks and then pulled Luke to safety with her on the ramp of the loading dock. Michonne, Magna, and Yumiko were on the pavement below them.
This is the same herd that attacked your rig.
How do you know?
Michonne nodded to a walker coming up behind them. He was tall and lanky, and wearing a lurid paisley button-down shirt.
Oh, God.
Talisa put a hand on Luke's arm to steady him. As soon as Magna saw him, her face crumpled, and she slumped against Yumiko for support. Michonne walked over to him and held him still, gently sliding her sword into the base of his skull, so he slowly collapsed to the ground. Magna knelt down beside him and sobbed.
Michonne, we have to go.
The dead were filing in towards them again. Michonne nodded to Yumiko, who pulled Magna to her feet, and they ran for the ramp just as Kelly and Connie came up from the other direction.
DJ should be waiting for us just down the road.
They met DJ 5 minutes down the road, exactly where Michonne said they would. They all piled back into the wagon, and Talisa and Michonne climbed back on their horses. They continued down the road towards Hilltop with no one speaking. Michonne looked over at Yumiko.
I know what it's like to worry about your family, to carry the burden of protecting them and feel the guilt when they suffer.
Yumiko looked back at Magna, who was still crying softly.
She'll be fine. We all will.
Because you have to be. I know all about that too.
I just want us to have a home, you know, somewhere that's safe.
You will.
They continued on for about another 40 minutes until they reached a fork in the road. Michonne pulled her horse to a stop and looked over at them.
This is as far as I go.
I should have told you about Maggie sooner. Tara told me when she left, and I should have told you right away. I'm sorry.
Where is she?
With Georgie. Someplace far. Helping her with a new community or something. That's all I know.
Michonne nodded, not meeting her eye.
I wanted to tell you. I just didn't know how you'd take it. So I didn't. But listen, this means you can come to Hilltop. You should come.
No, I'm needed at home. I kept my promise to Judith.
What about Carl? What about your promise to him?
Michonne looked up sharply, finally meeting her eye.
It's not that simple. You know that.
Talisa opened her mouth to answer, but her words were cut off as two men came galloping up the road from the left fork. Michonne turned her horse quickly to face them as they came even with them.
Spears, you from Hilltop?
We are. You?
Alexandria.
We're headed there now. We have a message. We have one of yours. Rosita Espinosa. She's been injured.
What about Eugene Porter?
Dread filled Talisa's chest as the man looked over at her in confusion.
Who?
Eugene Porter. They were together. Did she say anything about where he is?
I don't know anything about any Eugene Porter. They brought her in alone. Maybe Jesus could...
Talisa didn't wait for him to finish. She kicked her horse hard in the side, sending it into a gallop down the road. She vaguely heard Michonne yell her name as she sped away in the direction the men had come from, but she didn't care. She pushed the horse as hard as she dared and made it the rest of the way to Hilltop in less than an hour. When she got to the gates, she looked up to see Diane in the guard tower.
State your business.
I need to see Jesus now.
What's the nature of your visit?
God damn it, Diane. You know me. I'm Talisa Prince Porter from Alexandria, and this is a fucking emergency.
Let her in, Diane.
The gate cracked open slowly, and Talisa rode in to find Aaron, Jesus, and Daryl standing on the other side of it next to 3 horses, and all outfitted with weapons. She threw herself off the horse and ran to where they were standing.
Talisa, what are you...
What the hell is going on? Where's Eugene?
Take a breath. We're going out to look for him now.
Look for him? What do you mean, look for him? Where is he?
Rosita stashed him in a barn to keep him safe. We were just heading out to find it.
What do you mean she stashed him? What barn?
We don't know. That's all she could tell us before she passed out again. We think he probably got hurt, and she had to leave him behind to get help. We're headed back to the place where we found her, and Daryl's gonna follow her tracks from there. Hopefully we find it.
Talisa nodded, taking a deep breath to calm herself before she spoke again.
Okay, let's get moving then.
What? No, you can't.
I swear to God, Aaron, if you even think about telling me I can't come, that is my husband out there. You want to waste the next 20 minutes finding somewhere to lock me up and forcing me in there? Because that's what it's going to take to stop me. And even if you do, I'm going to find a way to get free and follow you anyway. So you might as well just save your breath and your time.
Let her come.
The other 2 men looked up at Daryl in surprise.
She's right. He's her husband. Ain't no way we're stopping her from coming along if she decides to do it, so might as well just get moving.
Jesus and Aaron exchanged a quick look, but then Aaron nodded reluctantly. Talisa jogged over to her horse, which someone had tied to the paddock as they were speaking, and grabbed her backpack off the saddlebag, slinging it over her shoulder. The stable hand brought a fresh horse out, and she took the reins, swinging herself up into the saddle. She checked the knife that was still in its sheath on her belt, and then rode to catch up with them as they left the gate. They'd ridden down the road for a few minutes before Aaron looked over at her.
The boys?
With Sadiq. They're probably just getting up for the day, eating his classic apple cinnamon pancakes, and asking if Mommy and Daddy are home yet.
Boys?
Daryl looked over his shoulder curiously.
Yeah, Teddy and Lincoln. Lincoln just turned 3 in August.
Wow, that means Teddy must be...
5. He'll be 6 this winter.
Can't believe that. How old was he the last time I saw you guys at the kingdom?
2.
Shit. Man time really gets away from you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
They'd gone another 20 minutes down the road when Aaron stopped and pointed to a tree to their left. Talisa saw a small smear of blood on the trunk.
That's where we found her.
Daryl dismounted and ran ahead. After a moment of looking around, he motioned for them to follow him. They tied their horses to the fence along the side of the road, and all walked into the woods behind him.
I'm guessing you've heard about the fair.
Oh yeah, we heard about it. And I'm guessing Aaron told you Michonne's feelings on the matter?
He did. Gotta say, I was kinda hoping she might agree to let you, Eugene and the boys, be the Alexandria delegation, seeing as you've been granted less restrictive rules.
I was hoping she would too. But honestly, our lighter restrictions have been being a lot more closely regulated lately. We haven't even been to the kingdom in almost half a year. Just the idea of this fair seems to have shut Michonne down even further. She sees it as a threat for some reason. I've tried to reason with her, believe me. Aaron has too.
She looked over at Aaron, who nodded sadly in agreement.
But she won't hear it. Last time I tried, she basically told me, if we choose to attend, we should plan on staying.
Really? She'd do that to her own people?
I don't think there's much she wouldn't do in the name of maintaining security anymore.
Up ahead, Daryl lifted his hand to indicate a pause. They all caught up to him and looked down on the field he was observing that stretched away from the tree line in front of them. There was a herd of walkers in the middle of the field, but they seemed to be staying in one place, simply walking in a slow circle without progressing anywhere.
You ever seen them act like that before?
No, never.
Rosita's trail goes right through them. We should get the horses and circle around to the other side of the field. Then we can pick it up on foot again.
What about them?
Aaron nodded to the walkers in the field.
What about them?
They're just milling around. That's not normal.
No, it ain't.
Daryl shot them a dark look, then turned his eyes upward.
There's a storm coming. We should go.
He turned and headed back the way they'd come, and they all followed. By the time they'd gotten around the clearing on horseback, the sky had started to get dark. They found an abandoned barn just inside the tree line, and Talisa's heart had soared, but then painfully crashed again when it was empty. The rain had hit hard and furious, and was now subsiding, but the dark, angry clouds on the horizon indicated that the bad weather wasn't done with them yet. They had stabled the horses in 2 of the stalls that were still secured with bars, and Daryl had gone out to pick up the trail again. It was already afternoon, and the knot in Talisa's stomach was growing tighter by the second. She was standing in the doorway of the barn, waiting for Daryl to return, and had been distracting herself from her panic by unabashedly eavesdropping on the conversation the 2 men sitting behind her were having.
I think you'd be a damn good leader if you'd just stop fighting it.
You think that's what I'm doing?
You know, Daryl has spent a long time keeping people away, but finding them, that's kind of his thing. If you stay, help him figure it out, maybe he'll stop fighting it too.
Talisa smiled slightly and kicked at a stone near the barn entrance. Suddenly, a gust of wind caught her hair, and she heard the low groans of the dead. She looked up sharply and heard Aaron and Jesus stand behind her as well. A second later, Daryl jogged out of the woods.
I found the trail, but the herd's coming for us. Wind's carrying the sound, but they'll be here soon. Horses secure.
They nodded, and he ran over to shut the barn door as Aaron and Jesus came out of it.
Good. Let's put some ground between us and them.
Between going out of their way several times to avoid the herd, and Daryl needing more time to find Rosita's trail after the rain, it was after nightfall when they came into a clearing where a second barn stood. Lightning streaked across the sky, followed almost immediately by a clap of thunder. Daryl looked down at his dog, a new companion as far as Talisa was concerned, who'd accompanied them so far. He nodded to him, and the dog took off across the field. After another minute, they saw him appear at the door of the barn and give a quick bark. Talisa's heart gave a hopeful squeeze, and Daryl nodded to them.
Let's move.
They all made their way carefully across the field. The barn was bigger than the first one had been. It had a loft that ran the length of one side and several stalls in the bottom.
Eugene, are you here?
Affirmative.
Talisa tore for the ladder in the corner and almost fell in her haste to climb it, but Daryl was right behind her and gave her a hard push in the back that got her up and into the loft. She looked around wildly but couldn't see him.
Eugene, where are you?
Talisa?
His voice came from the far right corner, and they all ran to it. Jesus yanked open the trap door in the floor, and they found him huddled in a small storage hatch. As he looked up at them all, Talisa dropped to her knees and grabbed his face, kissing him fiercely.
What in the name of everything that is holy are you doing here?
Rescuing you, obviously.
To her surprise, he looked away from her and up at the other three with an angry expression.
How the hell could you allow her to accompany you in a situation as dangerous as this?
She didn't give us much of a choice, man.
Look, this isn't important right now. We need to get you out of here. Give me your hand.
Eugene took Aaron's hand, and he hauled him out of the hatch where he collapsed on the floor with a groan.
What's wrong?
Took a bad step and dislocated my knee. With the herd on our 6, Rosita was forced to stash me here.
Well, if it's dislocated, we can just pop it back in and...
No!
Eugene grabbed his sleeve and looked up at him significantly.
We have to get out of here, now. That herd that followed us is on its way back.
I saw their tracks outside, Eugene. They're gone.
No, they're not.
Eugene took a deep breath, and Talisa could see he was fighting against the terror and panic that was threatening to overwhelm him.
They've already been through here twice. They're looking for me. We have to get away before they come back.
What do you mean they're looking for you, love?
It wasn't a normal herd. When they passed us by, we could hear them. They were
He closed his eyes and swallowed hard.
They were whispering to each other.
Are you saying they were talking?
I know how it sounds, but Rosita heard it too. She'll corroborate.
It's okay, Haircut. We believe you.
Talisa wrapped her arms around him, kissing the top of his head as she looked up into Daryl's confused and skeptical face.
We need to get him back.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Aaron and Jesus each took one of Eugene's arms, and they supported his weight between them so he could hop on his good leg. They all worked together to get him down the ladder onto the barn floor. But as they did, Daryl's dog began to growl, as the sounds of the dead once again floated to them on the wind.
Ain't no way that's the same herd. They cut us off. We can't get back to the horses.
Eugene began to tremble, and Talisa grabbed his face, making him look at her.
Hey, stay with me, okay? We've got this. We're going home.
Eugene looked at her and nodded.
We can backtrack. We'll go around them. Old Route 1 isn't far, and it's the straightest shot back to the horses.
They made their way out of the barn and away from the sounds of the dead. Jesus was right, and after only about 5 minutes of walking, they found the broken-down road. They made their way slowly down it with Aaron and Jesus carrying Eugene between them. After another 10 minutes, they came to a crossroads with several abandoned cars. Aaron and Jesus helped Eugene lean his weight against one of them, and both sat down to rest.
It doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't have doubled back like that. They were moving away.
And they definitely shouldn't have followed us all the way to the barn.
I do have a theory to posit on that. I believe the walkers may be evolving.
Oh, that's bullshit. They're dead. They're not evolving.
Being dead hasn't exactly stopped them from perambulating ad infinitum, though, has it? They're not dead in any sense that makes sense. It takes an impact to the cranium to stop them, which means the brain is alive, degraded as it may be. And if it's alive, it can change, maybe even start to remember things too, like how to talk.
He's got a point, Daryl, however terrifying it might be.
It's not any crazier than the dead being alive in the first place.
If they can learn to talk, it stands to reason they could learn strategy too, and how to hunt us.
They all looked up as they once again heard the sound of the approaching herd.
Damn it, they're right on our asses. We gotta get to the horses fast.
You have to leave me behind.
Talisa looked up at him in alarm.
What? No way in hell.
I'm slowing you down and tiring you out. Every time we stop, the dead get closer.
Absolutely not.
If you think there's any way in hell...
You don't have a choice.
She's right, Eugene. We came out here to find you. We're not going home without you.
You guys go get the horses. There's a bus over there. I'll take him inside and we'll wait for the herd to pass again. Then you can come get us.
No, you are not staying here, and that's final. If I die, so be it. But you're getting your ass back on that horse and you are leaving. You never should have been in this situation in the first place.
Eugene, easy. She loves you. She just wanted to...
She's pregnant. I'm aware you did so unknowingly, but the three of you allowed my pregnant wife to accompany you into a high-risk scenario, not only gambling with the life of our unborn child, but also potentially orphaning both our sons in one fell swoop as well.
Eugene,
Talisa began, but she wasn't sure what to say. He was right, and she knew it. She swallowed hard against the lump in her throat.
Okay, this isn't helping right now. Look, the numbers actually work in our favor. We can split up, like Talisa said. You guys get him back to the horses, and I'll draw them off in the other direction. Then I'll ditch them and meet you back at Hilltop.
We're stronger together.
The ghost of a smile played on Jesus' lips as he stepped towards Aaron and put a hand on his arm.
That doesn't help us. Our only way out of this is to avoid a fight.
No. If anyone stays, it's gonna be me.
They all stared at him for a few seconds in shock, and he smirked slightly.
Go on. Get out of here, hell. I'll probably beat you back anyway.
Talisa stepped to Daryl and gave him a quick one-armed hug as Jesus and Aaron lifted Eugene off the side of the car.
Thank you.
Of course. Now go. They're almost here.
They made their way slowly down the road, and after a few minutes they heard a loud explosion behind them.
Man, when Daryl says he'll create a distraction, he's not kidding.
They all gave nervous chuckles in response, and Aaron looked over his shoulder.
They're still coming. We've got to get off the road.
A thick fog was settling in around them as the thunder continued to rumble overhead. Talisa looked around desperately and saw an iron archway about 200 feet further up the road.
There, I think it's a cemetery.
They made their way up to it as the fog thickened and saw a 6-foot stone wall stretching around it and disappearing into the fog.
This is good. We can use it as a choke point to slow them down.
They all got through the gate and Talisa pushed it closed behind them just as the first walkers emerged from the fog behind them.
Come on. We're gonna get lost in here.
Follow the wall. There has to be another gate in here somewhere.
They made their way along the wall, all the while the sounds of the dead getting closer and closer through the fog. Finally, they came to another gate similar to the first. Talisa ran to it and shoved it hard, but it had obviously been shut for years, and the ground had grown over the bottom, locking it in place.
It's stuck.
Hold on. Take him.
Aaron transferred Eugene to Jesus. Eugene gave a small cry of pain as Jesus sagged under his weight, and Aaron ran over to help her. They pushed as hard as they could, but the gate didn't budge.
We can lift him over.
Talisa first.
Eugene, no, we need to...
Talisa, Jeanette. We do not have time to recycle the same argument. If you are truly intent on saving my life, I suggest you proceed in getting your exquisite ass over that wall post haste, because I will not be moving from this spot until you do.
She gave a growl of frustration, but ran over, allowing Aaron to give her a boost and vaulting herself over the wall. She ran back to the gate from the other side and saw the dead now filing in from the fog.
Move!
No time.
Jesus backed up so Eugene could lean his weight against the wall next to the gate, and he and Aaron started taking out the walkers filling in around them. Talisa screamed in frustration and grabbed the gate, pulling on it as hard as she could until the joints in her arms ached. Eugene looked over at her and put a hand over hers where it held the bars.
Stop, darling.
She looked over at him desperately, tears streaming down her face.
You gotta go.
No.
She yanked on the gate even harder.
Sweetheart, it's no use. It's not budging. You need to go. Go home to our boys and tell them how much I love them, please.
Tears filled Eugene's eyes as he looked up at her.
I can't leave you!
Yes, you can. You have to. You have to be brave for our family.
A sob clawed its way out of Talisa's throat, and she leaned forward, pressing her face between the bars of the gate as Eugene did the same, kissing her hard.
I love you. Always and forever.
And I love you. Every second of every day, since the first time I saw you, always and forever. Now go.
Eugene pushed her away, and she stumbled backwards. She turned to leave and found herself standing face to face with Michonne. She met the second woman's gaze for a brief second and then hugged her tightly.
Oh my God, I've never been so happy to see you in my life.
What's going on?
We can't get out. Gates obstructed by topsoil erosion.
All right. Talisa, you dig. I'm gonna pull, and I need you to push, Eugene.
Talisa dropped to her knees and began ripping through the dirt around the bottom of the gate as Michonne pulled and Eugene pushed against it with his shoulder. It moved a fraction of an inch, and Talisa felt a swoop of hope as she dug even more furiously. Suddenly, a walker lurched out of the fog towards Eugene. Michonne reached for her sword, but an arrow hit it in the forehead before she could. They looked up and saw Magna and Yumiko come running out of the fog. Magna dropped beside her to help her dig, and Michonne looked down at her.
What the hell are you doing here?
Earning our keep.
Suddenly, the gate groaned and gave way, sliding open, so Eugene fell through to the other side. Talisa caught him, stumbling under his weight, and Michonne quickly reached down to help her.
Go!
They heard Jesus yell, and they all looked up to see him and Aaron being pushed back towards the gate by the dead.
Get him out of here. I've got this.
Aaron ran to the gate, but then turned back.
Jesus, come on.
Jesus took out 3 more of the dead with ease and executed an impressive spin, putting his spear through another. He looked up and smiled at Aaron as he turned to take out the last one, shuffling slowly towards him. Suddenly, before any of them could register what was happening, the walker straightened up and dodged his attack, grabbing him by the arm and spinning him around as it plunged a blade through his chest from behind.
No!
Aaron and the others who were armed charged back in. Talisa, unable to hold Eugene up on her own, sunk to the ground with her arms around him as they watched helplessly. The newcomers and Michonne took out the other walkers coming towards them easily as Aaron dropped to his knees, pulling Jesus into his arms as he sobbed. Another arrow flew past Talisa, and she looked up to see Daryl run out of the fog as well.
No, please, God, no.
Jesus' blank eyes were all the confirmation Talisa needed. She put her head down against Eugene's shoulder, and he wrapped an arm around her.
Hey, come here.
Talisa looked up to see Michonne walking over to Daryl, where he looked down at the body of the walker that had killed Jesus.
What are they?
Daryl reached down with his knife and made a cut up the back of the walker's head. He pulled the skin away and held it up. Talisa looked down and realized with a start that what she was looking at wasn't in fact a walker. It was a man, probably in his early 20s. She could see the primitive laces Daryl had sliced through that had held the skin mask on his head. She looked up at Daryl and Michonne in confusion, when suddenly the wind shifted, and a thrill of dread went through her as a chorus of whispers began to drift towards them.
They're trapped.
Circle round.
When I Fall is a work of fiction based on AMC's The Walking Dead. Any characters not created by the author are the property of said company. The story will continue in the next chapter.